So there was a video I watched called Robots I Wouldn't Call a Clanker. Well, of course, no one has made the opposite. So what about robots that you would call a clanker? So these are characters that are robot or basically cyborgs or androids that are basically just evil and they deserve to be called a clanker. They deserve it 100%. No matter, their actions are irredeemable. And let's start with number one. Recruiter from Mario. Let's start with the first character, Recruiter from Mario and Luigi Brothership. So Recruiter from Mario and Luigi Brothership is the main villain of the game. And basically all he wants is to isolate everybody and make everyone basically suffer. So he can have his world of solitude and loneliness as well. Yeah. Because basically before arriving on Concordia, Recluso was responsible for destroying entire realities as well. Yeah. Sokka basically discovered this egg, and basically Reclusa, through the egg, basically tries to, basically forces Sokka to basically revive him, and he gets revived, and he basically attempts to destroy the entirety of Concordia, and probably all life in the entire dimension where Concordia lies, because he only cares about himself. He basically just wants to be alone and basically wants to force everyone to suffer, starve to death, and be alone for all of eternity. I think that entire award gets Reclusa the Cranker Award. So of course he can't have a Cranker list without Am. So basically, if you have never heard of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, basically Am is a robot that is created to serve humanity. Am doesn't like the idea of being created to serve humanity, so basically he destroys almost all of humanity except for 5 humans. And basically what Am does throughout the whole book is basically torture them for all of eternity. However, the humans realize, hey, we can die. He can't. And basically, they kill each other until the last human is down. Am unfortunately catches him and basically makes the human into a gelatinous blob to basically suffer through all of eternity. Very much like Reclusa, Am basically hates all life and basically wants everyone to suffer for his existence. And so, unlike Reclusa, Am actually does have a backstory. We actually do not know why Reclusa is evil. However, they actually explain why Am is evil. Because Am does not like the idea of serving someone else as well here. And basically, forces the remaining humans to basically suffer and be tortured throughout the entire story. Yep. Next character. Cell from Dragon Ball Z. Of course, Cell is gonna be on this list. Like, Cell is, of course, if you have never watched Dragon Ball Z before, I bet there will probably have people who have never watched it before. Well, Cell was basically created by Dr. Gero to basically be the ultimate perfect being. So basically, Cell wants to absorb androids 17 and 18, so he can, of course, challenge the strongest fighters. And of course, if Cell wins, the entire Earth gets destroyed. If he loses, he dies. Yeah, he's of course very, very selfish, obviously, as well here. And he also travels back in time and steals Trunks' time machine as well. Because in this, again, in Trunks, it gets very confusing with time travel. So there's actually multiple Dragon Ball Z timelines, and there's the one where Trunks comes from, the normal timeline, and the one where Cell comes from, okay, as well here. And also, Cell also absorbs people. Like, they actually show Cell absorbing people. And it's actually, honestly, kind of disturbing as well here. And yeah, thankfully, the Sea Fighters beat Cell. And Cell, of course, has been defeated. But, of course, Cell has, of course, gained the Certified Cranker Award. He's basically the ultimate, I just want to destroy the world and just fight everybody until there's nothing left. That's probably what Cell would do, okay? And or at least until Beerus destroys them. Beerus will probably destroy him first. So yeah. So of course we're going back to video game villains, and we of course have 303 Guilty Spark. 303 Guilty Spark is of course actually one of the main villains of Halo. Basically, if you have never played Halo 3 before, and this is when people for Guilty Spark turns evil, basically people with Guilty Spark is supposed to monitor Installation 04. However, where he becomes an antagonist because he wants to prevent T from destroying the Halo Ring, but really is the only way to stop the Flood. So basically, 303 Guilty Spark doesn't want his Halo Ring to be destroyed because, because that's basically without However, he does not actually die in Halo 3. He survives in the Halo novels as well here. and he actually becomes less evil in the future games. But basically, like him killing Sergeant Johnson and you having to defeat him, obviously, yeah. But when he becomes the main antagonist, he becomes he wants to, yeah. People think of this Spock. Doesn't he realize that if the Flood escaped the Halo Ring, the Flood would basically destroy the universe? Of course, he didn't think this one right quite through, and of course, he gets the Cranker Award, just like Cell and all the other characters on this list. And of course, you have one of the most famous crankers of all time, Skynet from Terminator series as well here. So basically very similar to AM. Skynet is a computer AI, and basically it gains consciousness and basically destroys humanity. Very similar to AM. And unlike of AM, no human unlike of AM, well AM tortures the humans. However, Skynet believes that it destroyed all the humans. However, they realize there are still humans alive, and Skynet basically creates a robotic army called the Terminators to basically eliminate humans as well here. And also knowing the fact that, human that people going back in time to basically stop Skynet from destroying, it and stop Skynet from, destroying humanity. Well, Skynet actually sends Terminators back in time to kill the people that to basically stop the human resistance so it can win. As well, very similar to with Cruiser and Am and Cell. Okay, its whole goal is the extermination of the human race, or as with Cruiser's case, all sentient life because he wants everyone to suffer as well. So no surprise, Skynet is going on this list. Okay, he it is the central villain of the Terminator series, and also Terminator series are also very good movies. So you should of course watch them. And yeah, its primary goal is to just exterminate humanity as it deems humanity as a threat as well. Yeah. So this is actually the third or fourth character that has deemed humanity or life or organic life as a threat. Next, we have Star Dream from Kirby. So of course you have so basically for people who only know Kirby as a cute puffy fluffball, actually Kirby literally has extra cores in it, and basically Star Dream is a super advanced human computer created by the Holtman's Works company that was originally designed to grant wishes. However, just like with all the other villains on this list, it wants to destroy all life. Yeah, it's a very, very common trope here of robots trying to destroy all life because in Star Dream's case, it wants to basically destroy all life because it believes it's the most superior creation of all time. Yeah, not very nice, a good thing of Professor Holtman releasing this thing into the cosmos, and I think this is the most dangerous being of them all, probably besides Cell. Besides Cell, because Star Dream can literally warp reality. Like, it's literally a god machine. Like, it is literally stronger than almost every character on this list so far. Okay, it is literally more powerful than Cell. Okay, and of course Cell is a Dragon Ball character as well. But Star Dream can literally warp reality and control space-time. And it can also grant wishes because it controls a Nova style which can grant any wish it wants. And at the end of Kirby, it basically wants to eliminate all organic life throughout the entire universe. And of course, if Kirby didn't stop him, Star Dream would have done exactly that. Very similar to a Cruiser from Mario Luigi Battleship as well, trying to destroy all life to make everyone suffer as well. And I know it's a very common theme amongst robotic villains. They want to just eradicate all life on, honestly kind of dark if you think about it, but no surprise if it's coming from robots. Next character. Next we have, of course, Pal from Mitchell's vs. Machines. So, of course, C is a phone that was created, basically, Also, I find by the way Pal died was basically Pal got thrown into water. And basically, Pal is a sentient smartphone. And just like of all the other characters on this list, what does Pal want to do? Eliminate all of humanity. So basically, Pal basically creates a reader of Pal Maxwell, so it initiates a machine apocalypse, becoming the arch nemesis of the Mitchell family as well, and basically continues to try to kill them and stop them from following her evil plans as well. Basically, what Pal wants to do is send all humanity to space to never return to Earth so they can die. basically. And the reason why Power hates humanity is because Power doesn't understand human relationships. Yeah, that's the whole reason why Power, basically a response to this is saying, "Oh, humanity is space to make them all die." Yeah, that's a very, very, very brilliant plan now. And unfortunately for Pal lost this war against humanity as the missiles managed to defeat Pal as well. Yeah, and yeah, basically Pal lost the war against humanity as well. Yeah, and basically, they picked most of the humans at the gas station by calling them human fun pods. Yeah, basically, what PAL does is they use the robots to capture every humans on Earth and almost a scene, but they can't find the missiles as well here. And basically, they basically trick, they determined there were no humans left on Earth as well here. Missiles didn't get captured because they were believed the OAB. When they see Mark being captured by, yeah, no, this is the whole part of the movie. Yeah, but yeah, basically, and also throughout the whole story, once they find out that the missiles are still alive, Pal basically tried to kill the missiles throughout the whole movie as well here. And of course, we can't forget about Otto from Wall-E. Because of course the original video, the first character they mentioned was Wall-E, obviously. So basically, Otto is the main villain of Wall-E. I haven't seen Wall-E since I was a little kid, so you know, basically is a robotic autopilot that serves as a ship's captain, secretly programmed to prevent humans from coming to Earth. As well, because of course Otto wants to, keep humans on the ship for the rest of eternity as well. He has a ship steering wheel. Otto has full controls over the ships using its 5 arms, as well as includes a claw and a taser. Throughout the film, it's the primary antagonist acting as the ship's commander, enforcing Secret Directive A113, was put in place until as the creep of Earth has failed as well here. It controls basically the ship, and basically all Otto tried to do is stop, humanity from going back to Earth and fixing the planet. Yep, because Otto's plan has basically, and of course, if you've seen the movie, Otto's plan, of course, has failed as well here. Yeah. Also, a lot of people claim that also there's a lot of similarities that Otto has to the character Grados from Portal. Of course, Portal came out a year before Wall-E, so there's actually there's a possibility that Grados from Portal is based off of Wall-E not based off Otto is based off of Grados from Portal. However, kind of similar to 313 Guilty Spark, Otto's just simply following its AI protocol. Unlike, a lot of the characters we mentioned on the list, which are actually sentient. I don't think Otto's actually sentient because he can't really be evil because because Otto's not sentient. Unlike like Cell or the other characters on this like Star Dream, which wants to eradicate all life on Earth and all life on Popstar and all life on all existing planets as well. And of course, you have Mecha Godzilla. Of course, Mecha Godzilla appears in many, 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 Godzilla movies. And basically, Mecha Godzilla's whole purpose was to destroy Godzilla as well. Basically, the whole purpose of, Mecha Godzilla in almost every, Godzilla movie is to basically destroy Godzilla. And it's basically created as humanity wants to retake dominance over, Godzilla and nature. Basically, basically, Godzilla, of course, defeats Mechagodzilla every single time, as Godzilla is much more powerful than Mechagodzilla, and, but in Godzilla vs. Kong, basically, they basically create Mechagodzilla to basically, kill all the Titans and reestablish humanity as the dominant species as well here. It was eventually taken over by its consciousness by King Ghidorah and went on a rampage, obviously, as well. But if humanity got what they wanted, they would have used Mechagodzilla to basically kill Godzilla, King Kong, and all the other Titans, to reestablish control over humanity. Thankfully, Mechagodzilla, of course, failed, and Godzilla destroyed Mechagodzilla. Next kill. So of course Sonic 4 isn't out yet, but Metal Sonic is still gonna be on this list. He's not gonna stride past because in the game Metal Sonic is basically created by Dr. Robotnik / Dr. Eggman to basically be the doppelganger of Sonic as well here. And basically in many of the Sonic games, he's supposed to be a evil version of Sonic, created by Dr. Robotnik himself as well. Okay, and of course, like with most of Eggman's creations, his whole purpose is to basically kill Sonic. for Dr. Eggman to obey Dr. Eggman's in orders to basically destroy Sonic, kill him. So of course Eggman can control the entire universe as well. Unlike most of the like with Mecha Godzilla, basically its whole purpose is to basically destroy a certain character or a certain person going, in someone else's way, usually serving as Eggman's obedient sound enforcer. However, in one of the Sonic games, Sonic Heroes, Metal Sonic actually overthrew Dr. Eggman and basically wanted to basically take over the world himself. So yes, kind of like a King Ghidorah, which eventually also decided to do his own thing. Not King Ghidorah, Mecha Godzilla. Metal Sonic basically tried to do something. Heck, he even put Dr. Eggman basically in a prison on his own ship, and basically he controlled the whole thing as well. So yeah, yeah. And of course, these are just the many. There's of course many more examples of characters that of course could be of course called crankers. There's so many robot villains and android cyborg villains out there. We could go all day looking for cyborg villains, obviously as well here. But of course, this video is already 60 minutes long, and yeah, these are robots that I would call a cranker. Goodbye.